Before I begin the video, I want to give thanks and appreciation to God because without Him, I wouldn't have the encouragement and perseverance to get up every day, and that's where my belief and faith rest in. I love you very much, God, and I thank you for allowing every day, every day. Hey dudes and dudettes, I hope your day is going just as sublime as your face. Welcome to my channel, The Jazzy Diaries, where I give my opinion and analysis on movies and TV shows, and every blue moon, I may vlog from time to time. In today's video, I will be talking about To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. While opinions are more than welcome, however, there are boundaries of having opinions which can be harmful. Please keep it respectful, insightful, and tasteful in the comment section if you do decide to comment down below, and the world will continue to be a beautiful place for everybody. Now, with that being said, let's unpack this video. Lara-Jean was fanatical and suffered with emotional instability, mainly due to the loss of her mother and the fact that she's never had a healthy outlet other than baking and her escapism into a world of literature, which is a cop-out to not deal with her emotional well-being. Take her room, for example. It's really her own way of self-expression and detachment from reality and disassociation of her clinging onto an idea and trying to make it real and ultimately not facing reality that she has to clean her room, which is symbolic of her needing to wake up and clear her head for over-exaggerating the hype and lure of unrealistic romance and unhealthy emotional attachment of her mother not being physically present. Her room was so aesthetically pleasing and gorgeous and was really something out of a page of a storybook, but a modern princess one, specifically from Pinterest. But anywho, Lara-Jean struggles with insecurity and remains emotionally avoidant throughout the entire movie, to the point where she was emotionally cheating on Peter with John Ambrose McLaren, played by the totally fine, oh so divine Jordan Fisher. And she couldn't come to terms and be honest with herself to be a friend to Peter and emotionally present with him because she wasn't. Because she had another agenda in mind where she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. It was only intent on the thrill of Peter not knowing and John being clueless. Lara-Jean over-inserts a fictitious narrative of romance and love in her real-life choices, where she thinks that she can be consequence-free of her actions and not take accountability for them, as to why she wasn't respectful of Peter's and John's feelings, where she decides to be chaotic and indecisive. It doesn't think her social cues and emotional immaturity are a sign of her not being ready for a relationship, and needing to sort her feelings out without trauma dumping or projecting onto others, because she was a selfish punk who was spoiled and privileged and wanted the easy way out of her own discomfort of her own emotions and irresponsibilities. So she wouldn't have to work on emotionally maturing and not being scared at the fact that her heart belongs to Peter, and that's okay. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the aesthetic of the movie and Lara-Jean's creativity in everything she wears and makes, from her outfits down to the baked goods she makes, in the color schemes of the movie that symbolizes how Lara-Jean views the world, which is colorful and impractical, but yearning to be sure of herself, but in a misplaced direction, where it always ends up with her being indecisive and not knowing what she wants, which interferes with her emotional judgment and honesty. That's what makes her a coward. With the privilege she's afforded with playing with two guys' hearts like that, it's completely petty and selfish and irresponsible. Lara-Jean completely blindsided John into believing that they had a chance on being together, with her not being straightforward and honest with him on her being in a relationship with Peter, and she was emotionally cheating on Peter with John. And I thought that writing him back was inappropriate when she could have talked to John in person about the letter and her being with Peter, and John would have definitely understood and respected her feelings. She undermined Peter too and barely held herself accountable and chickened out, specifically when John caught her in 4K with no receipts needed when he found out that she was in a relationship with Peter when they were in the treehouse, instead of Lara-Jean telling him herself. She didn't even respect Peter enough to tell him the truth about her being attracted to John because she's insecure, selfish, and prideful, and didn't feel secure or good enough to be in a relationship with Peter. Everything that Lara-Jean had was a gift that she was willing to take advantage of because her own father, even though he meant well, didn't hold her accountable, and everybody pretty much coddled her behavior, so she wouldn't feel bad for being insecure, overthinking, and paranoid about Peter getting letters from other chicks, and he wasn't even actively entertaining any of it because his heart is for Lara-Jean. I thought it was really tacky of Lara-Jean to go out with Peter after he went out with Jen, and felt inadequate when a couple of girlies sent him letters, which I felt was just another excuse to play mind games with John so she can even a scale with Peter on a love conquest and not feel so left out from feeling inexperienced, which isn't a bad thing at all. And it just tells me that Lara-Jean shouldn't have been in a relationship to begin with, as she is still naive and immature and figuring life out and really only in love with the idea of love. I do think that Peter cared a whole lot more about the relationship than Lara-Jean did because of how he didn't want Lara-Jean to feel excluded emotionally, even if it costed him literally neglecting his emotions, and didn't want Lara-Jean to feel as if he treats every girl he gets with the same way because he views her as a priority while she had a wandering eye for John, who was completely in the dark of Lara-Jean's over-the-top insecure schemes. I'm sorry that John fell into that disposable black love interest trope, as Jordan Fisher is a beautiful man, talented, and a great actor. But his agent needs to put him on to better roles where he gets the flowers for his acting capabilities, because he was treated like trash in this movie and deserves a chick who doesn't treat him like an option. Now, I did like how the way Kitty and Chris were with Lara-Jean when they knew the right moments to tell like it was to her about herself, in love of course, and didn't allow themselves to get completely sidetracked by Lara-Jean's drama. And honestly, I would have liked it if they gave Chris and Trevor more screen time and see them be an actual couple instead of focusing on Lara-Jean's madness and not having her priorities together. The only thing I would say that Peter is in the wrong on was still having contact with Jen after they were no longer together, and that should have been a more clear communication with Lara-Jean, because Peter was still reeling in his insecurity about his father. That wasn't really elaborated like it should have been, because the whole focus of course was on Lara-Jean. But I do feel that they should have had more screen time with him and his dad as well. Since his dad really wasn't emotionally present in his life, he dated girls who weren't emotionally ready to be in a relationship because they are still dealing with their own insecurities. Nonetheless, Peter and Lara-Jean were very cute together, and they were able to work through all of their issues together, and they both parted from their past infatuations amicably. I hope that John Ambrose finds a girl that genuinely likes him and will be completely sure of her feelings for him, where he would know automatically firsthand where he stands with her in the best way. I am so glad you came across my video, and I hope you enjoyed today's content. I appreciate you guys so much for taking a gander on my channel. Feel free to express your thoughts in the comments section below, and if you'd like to keep up with any upcoming announcements, news, and posts on entertainment, be sure to check out my blog. The link is in the description box, and if you made it to the end of the video, comment a smiley emoji. And remember, without God, we all wouldn't be here. Well, that's all folks. Have a happy rest of your day. Bye!